I'll mark it.
Let's see the junior councilman.
Oh, that's perfect.
Worst comes to worst, I'll take it.
Pretty much what I have to do for you. Yeah.
Charlotte.
What I kind of want to say, to in case everyone does call.
Well, we're here to hear, I mean,
Yep.
it's you guys' meeting to talk.
Ready?
You're that early in August? Yes, can you put that logo up there?
Yes.
Not the baby picture.
Not connected to my computer, we're good. Just delay to that.
Okay, everybody ready? Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to call the council meeting of Monday, September 9th to order. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll observe a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Mr. Sabosley, if you take roll call, please.
Okay, we're going to start with our new junior council people. Adam Smith.
Here.
Mercy Newell.
Here.
Paul Dern.
Here.
Dave Majernik.
Here.
Jerry Purcell is absent. Steve Schlock.
Here.
Dave Seitz is absent. Skip Taylor.
Here.
Vicki Rossler.
Here.
Mayor Schlegel.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to motions. I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of August 2024.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the expenses for the month of August 2024.
So moved.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majernik.
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the August 12th, 2024 council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Brings us to recognition of achievements in the community.
I have none. No one called me. Obviously, there were some out there, but no one called me.
I know we still need to talk to Mr. Nesbitt. I know we've been talking about that.
Send the messages for him to give me a call, because I need to get with him on some issues, or some information I need from him in order to do a proclamation.
I'll see if I can follow that up. Okay, seeing none of those, civic announcements.
Should light up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I promise I'll press it on, but.
Is the mic on?
Should have been. Okay.
Waiting for the water to boil.
Your name that long?
What did they say? It's like rebooting.
Yeah.
Just want to take mine.
Now it'll be up in 10 seconds.
Is it watch pause?
Only for you.
Yep, no, press it. Yep, there you go.
It says powering off now.
Hi, I'm Pam Calfa at the Plum Library. I just want to thank everyone who came out to our book sale over the weekend. It was incredibly successful. We had a great turnout, raised some great money. Also, September is Love Your Library Month, so you may see signs throughout the community. If you would like a yard sign, feel free to stop by the library. We also have buttons and stickers to give out as well. All donations we receive in the month of September are eligible to be matched from the Jack Buncher Foundation, and that goes for any library in Allegheny County. And we rely on those donations, especially in the month of September, to be able to offer all the great programming and new materials at the library. So thank you.
Pam, can we a month early hype your trunk or treat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we have Trunk or Treat coming up. We'll be posting a save the date for that, but it is on Wednesday, October 23rd, and it's going to be at 5:30, and it's actually going to be at the Plum Boro building. That will allow us to accommodate more cars, better parking, a safer environment, and a great partnership. So I'll be talking more about that probably at the October meeting, be sure to look out on our website and our Facebook page and our email, and we will have flyers at the library beginning this week with the date. Registration will open on October 7th at 10 a.m. on our website, and it will fill up. So October 7th, 10 a.m., our website, or you can call the library that morning to sign up. We do have a limited number of spots available, but we are able to offer more because we are here at the Borough Building. So we're super excited to be able to have it up here. So October 23rd at 5:30. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Any other civic announcements? Okay. President's comments, I have none. Citizens' comments on agenda items, I don't think anybody signed up.
On agenda items now.
Okay. So we're gonna move into council actions. First up, Mr. Majernik on behalf of Planning and Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 995-24 approving the sewage planning module for Pine Court Number 4 subdivision.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majernik. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 996-24 approving the sewage planning module for Gamma Sports located on Sheena Drive at Lot and Block 740-S-1 and 740-S-11.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 997-24 approving the sewage planning module for 4609 Sardis Road.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to approve a landscaping waiver for the Midas compressor land development as recommended by the Planning Commission.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 998-24 granting preliminary final land development approval for the Midas compressor land development located at Lot and Block 733-S-175 and 734-C-027 as recommended by the Planning Commission.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Commission, I move to adopt Resolution 99-24 finalizing the addition of properties to the agricultural security area as recommended by the Planning Commission.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second
I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Commission, I move to accept the Oakmont Water Authority Consolidation Plan as complete.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion?
Can you just explain what that is about?
Which number is this? Number 7?
Yes.
So, the Oakmont Water Authority owns property in Plum Boro on Coxcomb Hill Road. They're planning on uniting 2 lots. They're planning on doing a consolidation plan. Right now, we're just accepting their application as complete, and the borough engineer will work with them on that plan, and it will probably reappear on council's agenda for final approval next month. Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to approve a cooperation agreement with Oakmont Country Club as required by the list of special conditions in the RACP grant agreement.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That concludes the Planning and Economic Development Committee motions.
Okay, Mr. Majernik, we're coming right back to you since Mr. Seitz isn't here tonight on behalf of Personnel and Management.
Right. On behalf of Personnel and Management Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 1000-24 establishing the 2025 employee contribution to the police pension fund at 5%.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Majernik. And we move on to Public Safety. Ms. Rossler, please.
Thank you. On behalf of Public Safety Committee, I move to approve. Thank you. On behalf of Public Safety Committee, I move to approve the addition of 3 police vehicles to the asset disposition list to be sold on Gov Deals.
Okay, I have. You have too many microphones on?
You're good.
There we go. Okay, I have a motion on the floor. I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, that moves us to Mr. Taylor on behalf of the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Parks and Recreation Committee, I move to approve a special use permit for the Gamma Storm to use the Plum Creek baseball fields from October 10th through October 12th.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we move on to Mr. Schlock on behalf of the Finance Committee, please.
Thanks, Mr. President. On behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 1001-24, approving the 2025 minimum municipal obligation.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to approve an agreement with the Phoenix Benefits Group for actuarial services through 2026.
I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Schlock. Do I have a second? I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to adopt Resolution 1002-24, approving a resolution establishing reasonable attorney's costs of collection for delinquent real estate tax and delinquent municipal claims, and imposing the cost of such collection on the delinquent taxpayer.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Finance Committee, I move to approve the updated Longwood Oakmont payment plan agreement.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Schlock. Okay, and we go back to Ms. Rossler since Mr. Purcell is absent tonight. Roads, equipment, and grounds.
Thank you. On behalf of Roads, Equipment, and Grounds, I move to award the bid for Coscombe Hill Road Signal Improvement Project to Traffic Control and Engineering in the amount of $456,122.75 as recommended by the borough's traffic engineer.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to award the bid for demolition of property 4575 New Texas Road to Massarelli Excavating LLC in the amount of $64,890 as recommended by the borough engineer.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to authorize the advertisement of the Holiday Park Phase 2.5 Storm Sewer Project.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to authorize the advertisement of Ordinance 983-24, updating and amending the borough's road and construction standards.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I have a second on the floor from Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And that brings us to the end of the council actions. And now we will go to the mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. And before I get into my report, I want to let our junior council people know that you have the right during the work sessions and during this meeting, if you have questions or you need something that you need a clarification on, you have a right to question the speakers, and the same as we do in that respect. So with that said, our uniform patrol officer responded to 1,065 calls during the month of August. That was around a 4% decrease in calls. And now my favorite part. The ATS radar sign was deployed on O Block Road northbound for 6 days. A total of 4,782 vehicles were timed over that 7-day period. And the highest speed on there was 45 miles per hour. This is the one that shocks me. It was put up on Davidson Road, southbound, from August 18th through the 30th. 20,474 vehicles one way were timed over that 13-day period. That road can't handle that traffic. And during there, the highest speed was 59 miles per hour. And on Kerr Road, from August 7th through the 20th, a 13-day or 12-day period, 23,571 vehicles one way. And some idiot did 71 miles per hour on that road. And then our special projects, our officers have been out and about in the community, and on August 8th, 3 of them participated with Amplify Church in their back to school event. And also the chief and I, along with several officers, participated up at Macy's on August the 25th, along with Plum EMS, for Shop with a Cop Day, where the kids were given an opportunity to go out and spend, they were each given $250 to buy school clothes. Plum EMS participated this year because they made a donation of $250 to sponsor a child. And the thoughtful citizens. On August 7th, Kevin Murray of Bachman's Roofing dropped off several pizzas, hoagies, salads, and soft drinks for our officers in appreciation to their service for the community. On August 9th, residents from Emerald Drive dropped off 24 donuts in appreciation of our officers' efforts on a call for service that took place earlier in the day on Emerald Drive. And on August 27th, Donald Thomas emailed to inform, this is an email to the chief, to inform what a professional experience he had when he encountered Officer Crystal Iacchini as a result of a traffic stop. Officer Iacchini was professional and respectful during the entire incident, and issued Mr. Thomas a written warning for his minor traffic violation. Mr. Thomas went on to say that he has been a borough resident for 25 years and appreciate what the police do for the community. And that, sir, is the end of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brings us to the committee reports. First up is the Intergovernmental Cooperative Committee, and we are having a meeting tomorrow night at 5 p.m. at the school library. And Mr. Majernik, Personnel Committee for Mr. Seitz, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dern. The Personnel Committee report, the job opening for in-house engineer was posted on April 23rd with a few applications submitted. Recently, an application was submitted and management is interested in learning more about the candidate and discussing a potential interview. Applications for the laborer truck driver openings were received in February and the exam was given in March. Driving exams were completed and 3 applicants will be interviewed this month. That concludes the report.
Thank you, Mr. Majernik. Mr. Schlock, Finance, please.
Thanks, Mr. President. The borough recognized revenues totaling $2,175,726 and incurred expenditures in the amount of $1,245,570. To date, the borough has received $1,495,357 in the current real estate tax revenues, and this represents 23% of the adopted budget. As a result of higher interest rates, the borough projects that interest income will be approximately $40,000 over budget. Through the month of August, the borough has expended 59% of the budget, or $9.37 million. The finance director kicked off the 2025 budgeting process with department heads. The finance committee will review the preliminary budget during October in preparation for presentation at the November 4th council agenda meeting. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Schlock. Ms. Rossler, filling in for Mr. Jerry Purcell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Roads and equipment and grounds report that number 1, the 2024 paving project has been completed. Number 2, the Abers Creek Holiday Park Drive stormwater project, along with the PBMA water line replacement, has started. Number 3, new American flags have been installed on the light poles along Mike Thomas Way above the military banners. These flags were donated by resident Ethan Nesbitt through his fundraising efforts with his Patriotic and Plum project. Ethan is a 6th grader and has worked on this project over the last few months. Number 4, stormwater pipe replacement was completed on Anderson Avenue. The head wall on Anderson Avenue was cleaned to help prevent flooding. And number 5, the Ross Hollow retention pond was retrofitted as determined in the borough's MS4 program. And then lastly, number 6, the borough will move forward on Coxcomb Hill and Ramparts project after approval from PennDOT. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming right back to you for public safety.
Okay. I have Mr. Maloney here from EMS to come and speak first.
All right, making sure this is on. All right. So, Brian Maloney, Director of Operations, Plum EMS. As always, I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. For the month of August, we actually were extremely busy. We set the 2nd highest number of transported patients to the hospital we've ever had. So we did a total of 265 responses, transported 171 patients. We responded to neighboring communities 6 times, which 4 of those resulted into a transport. And we needed mutual aid to come into Plum to help for EMS calls 13 times throughout the month. And so in a sense, 95.2% of the time EMS was needed in Plum, we were able to handle that. So very proud of that and what the crews do for that. Along with running emergency calls, as like the mayor had identified, we have an opportunity to participate in the Shop with a Cop. We've actually contributed to the donations the past couple of years, and so it was incredibly nice for them to invite us to be a part of that this year. So The crew members greatly appreciated it, and they loved everything that was doing, so thank you for the invite on that. We ended up doing 6 separate CPR trainings throughout the month, and that was including the school district. So that's over 600 people we did for total. We were busy doing some CPR training last month. We ended up doing 9 car seat safety checks, provided 2 free car seats to families in need. And Saturday, September 21st, we will be hosting our annual car seat safety clinic. It's actually going to be up at the DPW building this year, 2001 Mike Thomas Way. And so we've been posting flyers because registration is required. The Plum Rotary and a lot of other groups are helping us out spread the word. So if you know anybody who needs some help with that, please let us know. And lastly, I just want to do a special thank you to the Plum Rotary Club. They are continuing to sponsor and support our child safety program. They recently made a donation of $2,000 for it, and that is a significant contribution because without that support, this child safety program would not be as effective as it is. So thank you to everybody a part of that. It's a great group. So questions, comments, a little story to make me smile? I like it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, I have more stuff, so. Okay, next I asked Jim Sims from the Holiday Park Fire Department to come and talk, speak tonight to the public and to council. One of the things that, before I came onto council, I had no idea what all the fire departments do. I just assumed that they fight fires. And as I've been more involved for the last 8 months, it was very eye-opening to what they do. So Jim is here to speak. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody knows me. I am Jim Sims. I'm the chief of the Holiday Park Volunteer Fire Department. As Vicki said, she contacted me, asked me to come to talk about our fire department, actually the fire department as a whole in Plum Boro and what we do. It's just as Brian mentioned about the call volume. Our call volume is exceeding every month. We are currently 70 calls in excess of 2023. This is day 248 of 2024, and the Holiday Park Volunteer Fire Department has responded to over 700 calls this year already. We're averaging 2.95 calls per day. If I can, I'll tell you right now, starting at last evening at, starting last evening at 8 o'clock at night, we had an odor of gas. 12:56 this morning, we had a first responder call assisting Plum EMS. At 1:32 this morning, we had an accident on Davison Road. At 6:45 this morning, we had a CO alarm going off. At 6:49 this morning, we had a report of a possible residential structure fire. At 7:09 this morning, we assisted Plum EMS on another street. And then at 6:35 this evening, it's another first responder detail. This is us. This is us every single day. It's to the point where if we're quiet, we're saying there's something wrong. Why aren't we getting called? We're well over 700 calls, 2.95 calls per day. In addition, we're an Amplified Church for their fall kickoff. We have 3 members right now as I'm here at council meeting. They're out teaching CPR at a local church. They've asked for our assistance where they're teaching CPR for them. We have other events coming up. We do bingo 51 weeks a year with the exception of Thanksgiving. We do 2 super bingos. We do and a gun bash to raise money. Plus, and I mentioned this at the fire station the other day, I about got stoned. I said, we're like about 6 months out from Ash Wednesday for fish fry. And that takes us for 7 weeks. Ash Wednesday is March 5th, in case anybody's interested. That takes us 7 weeks, 8 fish fries. And truthfully, the men and women of the Holiday Park Fire Department, and we're no different than the other fire departments in this borough, we're getting tired. And we see this group that I think Vicki is a big part about, the Friends of the Fire Department. We need assistance to help us do our fundraisers. You know, we need people outside of firefighters that come and say, hey, I can come work bingo, I can come fry fish, you know, I can do whatever. And this is important to us because we're answering, as I said, we're going to do well over 1,000 calls again this year. We're 70 calls ahead of last year. We did over 1,000 last year. We're already ahead of last year. And the guys and the men and the women of Holiday Park Fire Department, the men and the women of the Unity Fire Department, and the Logan's Ferry and the Renton Fire Department, We're out there every single day, and I don't think the residents really understand that it's a volunteer fire service. I know some people do, but we still go to residents in Holiday Park and they say, well, you know, it's your job. No, we're volunteer. We got up at 12:56 a.m. for free. We got up at 6:49 this morning for free. All the money that we raised, they don't understand what type of tax burden would be placed on this community if they had to pay for a full-time paid fire service. So we need, so the Facebook post I saw today about the Friends of the Fire Department, that's important. We need assistance to help us run our everyday operation. People see our budget. My budget at the Holiday Park Fire Department is well over $400,000 a year that we have to raise. Outside of the monies we get from the borough, some grants, our fund drive, that comes from our bingos, that comes from our fish fries, that comes from our gun bashes, that comes from all those things that we put into that make our ends meet. Just as the borough realizes it, our insurances are up, our electric bill is up, just like every family realizes it. The cost of running our operation is going up. So we need assistance outside the fire service. We're there for you. We can only do so much, you know. We train very hard. We train very hard to put out fires, to rescue people from vehicles. You know, we go to vehicle accidents, we go to trees down, we go to power lines down, smell of gas. We still run a large amount, I shouldn't say large, that's probably incorrect. Several times a month, people are still very cognizant, very vigilant to strange odors in their community, or strange odors in their home, that they're calling for the possibility of natural gas. And now we're getting into carbon monoxide season. Furnaces are starting up for the first time, and people with carbon monoxides if you haven't had your furnace checked, please do so. If you haven't changed your filters, please do so. If you haven't put new batteries in or you haven't bought CO detectors, please do so. Because we're in that season now where furnaces are starting up, and you're going to have, and we're going to start running more CO calls. So that's what we do, and that's what we do for free every single day, every single month. And we appreciate you want to come join us. You know, I don't want to fight fires. That's fine. We got something for you to do. Absolutely do. I appreciate your time.
Chief, before you go.
Yes, sir.
Could you do me a favor for next month for the mayor's report, because I need something? Can you give us an estimate of what it would cost for our community our size, if we had a paid fire department here?
Absolutely.
If you could put something together on that, then we can bring up.
Well, imagine this. As majority of you probably know, I just recently retired. For 26 years, I sold fire apparatus. I sold fire trucks. When I started back in 1998, the first pumper I sold was $178,000. My ladder truck that the Plum Boro was helped purchased in 2008 was $756,000. If Plum Boro was assist to buy that ladder truck today, it's about $1.9 million. A platform similar to what Unity has, you're talking $2.2, $2.3 million. A pumper truck, ladder hose, water, no, just a pumper truck. You think it's a fire truck. You're over $1 million. And so think about if the borough had to come in and start buying fire apparatus, turnout gear, a pair of a pair of pants is over $4,000. Boots, equipment boots, firefighting boots. We just bought 3 pair, $628 a pair for boots. It's staggering. So I'll get you those numbers. But there's a couple examples that the cost of trying to outfit. And you know, we have concerns coming, and Mr. Sabazi and I talked about this, we have concerns coming in regards to if the OSHA requirements pass, and we have to abide by those. Because the OSHA is passing new rules and regulations. They're amending, they call it their fire division rules, and they're adopting 12 to 15 sections of NFPA. So it's going to require 2 in, 2 out. It's going to require annual physicals. It's going to require fire chiefs to go to sensitivity and training. There's a whole list of things that if these OSHA regulations pass, it's going to become a burden to the fire department. I guess there's a question whether or not we're going to fall under them, because Pennsylvania doesn't have a state OSHA plan. So we may not meet that because we're not a private organization. We may meet the exemption because we receive money from the boroughs and we have insurance from the boroughs. So we may be considered a borough division of the borough. But if those OSHA rules happen, which they're going to, it's in comment phase now. The comment phase just closed end of August, and OSHA's ready to adopt these new regulations. It's going to be astronomical to the fire departments.
Well, I was looking at also, the most important thing here, I know what equipment costs, but just an hourly rate, just an idea.
Sure, I'll give
for the fire,
Right.
for the 4 departments we have here.
Sure.
And a number of, people need to understand that when they get that in the mail saying, can you donate? And a lot of people, and I know some of them unfortunately, to sit there and they don't give a thing.
Our return.
And on your drives, people need to understand what it would cost. $100, $150 donation is far less than what their insurance would go up if we didn't have the fire departments we have.
Our return, and this has been stagnant for years, our return is around 29% of the donation letters we sent out. And I think Brian can attest to that too, on maybe his EMS drive is a little bit higher. But historically, just not mine, Unity, Logan, it's about 30% of the residents we send to will donate to us. And we have some very good contributors who appreciate us. Our fire station's open. We welcome them to come down and see us. We do have some spaces left on our Citizens Fire Academy that starts next Wednesday night. If anybody's out there listening and watching and want to come join us, come down. Can learn more about us, please come down.
Well, I like the people, the residents to understand what it's going to cost them to have a paid fire department here. So 29% is ridiculous.
Sure.
And, get what you can, but certainly $50 because your insurance costs are going to go way up.
Right.
And if you could do that for me for next
Absolutely.
month, I'd appreciate that.
I'll be glad to.
Thank you, Chief.
Any other questions? Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief Sims. And just to piggyback off of what the mayor had said too is what else they do besides just fighting fires, which Mr. Sims had mentioned. There's a time and need and they're there. So our firefighters are volunteer. So with that being said, and as Jim stated, our volunteer fire departments need the community's help. They need more bodies to help on the fire stations, and they could use help with fundraising. This is why we started the Friends of Plum Volunteer Fire Departments. This is a newly formed group of Plum residents that will assist the departments in fundraising efforts. If you have any free time and would like to be involved in this community group, please send an email to V as in Vicky Fire Department FD. It says VFDFriends@plumboro.com. This group is based solely on your availability. You do not have to help with every event. So again, if you're looking for to get involved in the community and help our fire departments, if you can't help monetarily, maybe you could volunteer your time. I will tell you, working with the fire departments the last 9 months, I have to say they're the friendliest people with the biggest hearts who care about your property and your safety. I can attest that if you decide to help, you will enjoy working with the departments. The firemen here and women are a great group of people. So again, VFDFriends@plumboro.com. So I have more after that. And if you have any questions, you can also email me too. So again, another topic here is I just want to thank you again to the Maines family for choosing Volunteer Fire Departments as the recipient of the Maines Family Golf Outing Fundraiser. The volunteer fire departments are extremely appreciative. I also have a big thank you to Bill Bonora and the rest of the Municipal Authority Board and KU Resources for working together with our fire departments. The last couple of months we've been working together to educate the fire departments on hydrant water flow utilizing hydraulic modeling. Also, with that being said, the hydrants will start to be painted on September 23rd per NFPA 291 standards. I also have another thank you to Bill Bonora for recognizing that the GPM of the fire hydrants at the Plum Middle School Holiday Park campus were inadequate. The municipal authority just completed adding a line from Bar Harbor to the campus, which will provide more water to the campus and the residents of Bar Harbor. I also have A reminder that you need to have identification numbers clearly visible from the street on your house. This is very important to our first responders, so you can purchase a sign with the borough, or you could buy your own. And then lastly, I have one more thing here. Hold on. To sign up for Savvy Citizen. Hold on. Reminder, sign up for Savvy Citizen for any safety-related alerts. Our police department will be utilizing Savvy Citizen to keep the community informed. I think that's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Majernik, Planning and Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Planning and Economic Development Report. Number one, the Community Development Department issued 66 permits in August. Number two, the Planning Commission did not meet in August. 3, the Zoning Hearing Board met in August and approved a variance request of 14 feet to encroach into a perimeter setback for a proposed in-ground pool at 412 Murrow Field Court. 4, staff met with Keystone Collections to discuss the transition of sanitation and stormwater flood fee billings for 2025. 5, staff met with representatives with Pentex Ventures on site at the new Dollar General store to discuss corrective actions for the improper placement of subbase and geotech fabric. Number 6, code enforcement completed 61 residential and apartment occupancy inspections and addressed 60 violations and complaints. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Majernik. And I've been informed that Ms. Rossler has a stormwater report to give, so we'll go back to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is Stormwater Task Force items. O'Block Pond, during the month of August, Plum received the approved joint permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. The project is now in its funding phase. Abers Creek Culvert, an existing tin whistle pipe culvert near the intersection of Abers Creek Road and Holiday Park Drive showed significant signs of failure during the winter of 2024. I don't think that's 2000. We haven't had that winter of 2024. January of 2024, I'm sorry. KU Resources submitted and received all appropriate permits from the DEP and Army Corps of Engineers during the month of March 2024. The proposed project will replace the existing failing culvert with a new 60-inch diameter plastic pipe to prevent flooding issues in the area. The project is currently being constructed and is scheduled to be completed by the end of October. Center Beach, the NPDES application was submitted to the Allegheny County Conservation District on June 11th, 2024. We are in the process of revising the PCSM and E&S plans and calculations for the joint permit application to minimize the proposed impacts to surface waters. And that's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. That takes us to Mr. Taylor, Parks and Rec.
Wow, thank you, Mr. President. The trimming and the grass cutting maintenance on the borough parks and playing fields continued throughout the month. Routine safety inspections of our playgrounds were completed and pavilions were power washed. Public Works assisted with preparation and cleanup for the Plum Area Youth Soccer Annual Kickoff Classic Tournament, of which I heard was immensely successful again as usual. The Pop It and Drop It Million Tab Challenge has been ongoing. Tabs can be dropped off at various locations throughout the borough until the end of November. Question I have is, I understand, I know that's a fundraiser. What is that a fundraiser for again? I don't.
Just the Ronald McDonald House.
Okay.
We've been doing that for most of this year, so it's surprising how many people collect those tabs.
Yeah. And also like to invite everybody down September 28th, Saturday, September 28th, 12 to 6, for our Fall Fest. As you know, last year we had it, and years prior to that we've had it, and it's been very successful, and it's a lot of family fun. It's down at our Plum ball fields, again, September 28th, 12 to 6. And I'd just like to add that the flags on Mike Thomas Way are a wonderful addition, and very nice to see. That's it.
And Skip, just to follow up on your comments about Fall Fest.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking for ways to get our junior council people involved, and we'd like, if you stay after the meeting, to talk about your Fall Fest participation and how we can raise the participation level with maybe some more kids from the high school.
Okay, great. Let's get the meeting up and running. Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, you're good?
Yep.
You didn't forget anything?
I don't think
I'll
so.
have to come back to you?
I don't think so.
Okay, that moves us to citizens' comments on non-agenda items. No one has signed up, but if anyone here needs anything to talk about, this is your time. No? Sure? Okay, adjournment. I need a motion for adjournment. I have a motion by Mr. Majernik. I need a second. I have a second by Ms. Roster. All those in favor? We are adjourned.